Rimfire ammunition typically has the primer located in the lower end of the cartridge. Upon the firing pin hitting the primer of the ammunition with enough force, the primer is crushed, causing the gunpowder in the middle section of the cartridge to ignite and expel gases, which then explodes internally, and then expels the projectile out of the barrel of the gun. Rimfire ammunition may not be as accurate as centerfire as the gunpowder is distributed unevenly. However, there isn't as much recoil when using rimfire ammunition as opposed to centerfire. Rimfire is typically used in rifles, pistols, and potentially submachine guns. One popular brand of rimfire gun would be Ruger rifles and pistols. With centerfire ammunition, the hammer must hit the specific primer located in the center of the lower cartridge for the ignition of gunpowder to commence. The primer itself contains an explosive, and when the firing pin hits this primer, the explosive is expelled to mix with gunpowder, which causes a chemical reaction emitting gases, powerful enough to cause enough force to expel the projectile from the gun barrel. The centerfire ammunition ensures an even burn of gunpowder, due to the gunpowder being central in the cartridge, which also makes centerfire more accurate. Centerfire ammunition is typically used in handguns. The most popular brand being Glock handguns. Air weapons. Generally, air weapons, depending on the caliber of the weapon, can range from .4.5 mm to .5.6 mm, or even ball bearings, which range in size from 4.5 mm, being the most common, although there is a variety of sizes. Shotgun cartridges typically range from the number of projectiles contained within the cartridge. For example, 12 bore contains fewer projectiles compared to a 20 bore cartridge. However, the 12 bore projectiles will be much denser and more compact of a shot, which makes it better for distance shot and more lethal, whereas 20 bores contain more projectiles, though they are much smaller in comparison and aren't very accurate in the longer range. Rifles, much like submachine guns, can fire rimfire and centerfire bullets, but typically use centerfire because centerfire ammunition is capable of discharging much higher levels of pressure and firing powerful rounds, which also translates to greater range. Standard manual loading rifles usually take 17 upwards to 308 rounds, with the most commonplace ammunition being .22 bullets. Automatic rifles generally take 5.56 mm ammunition and upwards. Generally, revolvers use calibers ranging from 5.6 to 12.7 mm and upwards. Typically, revolvers are paired with rimfire ammunition, since revolvers are typically used for vermin control inside of the UK, although they also have centerfire ammunition options available. Submachine guns. Submachine guns generally take the same ammunition as a rifle, although submachine guns are designed to fire said rounds at much higher rates compared to rifles for an extended amount of time. The most widely used type of ammunition used for submachine guns would be 9mm rounds. However, in much larger submachine guns, these rounds can excel upwards to 12.7 mm and beyond, such as anti-aircraft submachine guns. The most common types of firearms in the UK are air weapons, due to the fact that they can be acquired without the need for certification, given they meet the requirements of the Firearms Act 1968. The most available types of air weapons are air pistols and air rifles. Given that the air pistol doesn't output a force greater than 6 Fs per pound, and an air rifle beyond 12 F per pound, then they may be purchased freely given the buyer is at least 18 years of age with identification proof. Air pistols can be powered by CO2 either in the form of capsules, typically 12 J per canister, or by manually loaded gas contained in spray canisters. They may also be spring-powered, nitro-piston technology which compresses nitrogen gas when cocked into position, and pneumatic air weapons which compress air via pumping action. Revolvers are also a renowned type of firearm, often seen in olden Western films and cartoons. There are 3 most notable variants to the revolver. Firstly, there are single-action revolvers, which operate by manually cocking the hammer. Single action means the one action the trigger serves when firing the round. There are also double-action revolvers that perform 2 tasks, automatically cocking the hammer and firing the weapon through a longer trigger pull, or with single fire mode where you manually cock the hammer and discharge the revolver using the trigger. Double-action only revolvers also exist, which don't have manually cocked hammers to the exterior of the revolver. The gun automatically cocks and fires upon pulling the gun's trigger. Pistols are also widely used, commonly in crime in the UK due to their easily concealable nature, making them prime weapons used for nefarious means. The most popular category of pistol would be the semi-automatic pistol, which is capable of expiring a round, while automatically loading the pistol to discharge another round via pulling the trigger, allowing for faster rates of discharging. They also don't require the shooter to manually cock the gun for the next shot. Like revolvers, pistols also operate under manual hammer-fired systems, which require the firearms handler to cock the hammer and pull the trigger to fire the round. Single-shot pistols refer to outdated technology, such as the original matchlock pistols created in approximately the 15th century. Shotguns are also commonly available within the UK, given the firearm holder has the required certification. Shotguns have three main categories, most recognizably the pump-action shotgun, which is operated with the shooter, manually loading the weapon by sliding the forend to eject spent cartridges, load new ones, and also reset the firing pin ready to fire. Break-action shotguns require the firer to fold the gun's barrel downward, ejecting the shells and reloading manually via the breech. Semi-automatic shotguns use gas-shot blowback operation, meaning that when fired, the empty shells are ejected, and another live cartridge is loaded and ready to fire without needing to manually load cartridges, which allows for faster discharge and lessened recoil. Rifles are also another popular category of weapon in the UK, and range from single-shot, bolt action, and automatic, much like shotguns.